is the Oak Leaf Sports Report, and I'm your host, Sean Doherty, and as always, it is my pleasure to bring to you, the Bear Cub faithful, all of your sports scores and news from the previous week, as well as what to expect from the week ahead. The weather is warm and spring sports is in full swing for your Bear Cubs, so let's get the show started by taking a trip to the basketball court to get caught up on the playoff run both men's and women's team are currently on. In all sports, the level of success is determined by two things. First, did a team make it to the playoffs? And second, how far in the playoffs did a team go? This year, both men's and women's basketball teams won the Big 8 Conference Championship and were selected as high seeds in the CCCAA playoff brackets. The men landed the 3 seed and the women a 5. And on Wednesday, the women took their 5 seed down to Fremont to take on the 4 seed Ohlone and came through with the upset not just by winning, but by crushing Ohlone by 14, earning themselves a bid to take on the number 1 seed Foothill Saturday night. Unfortunately, all good things come to an end, and after a hard-fought game, the Bear Cubs women basketball team fell to Foothill by a score of 57-49. The men's basketball team had a similar road to follow. After earning the 3 seed, the Bear Cubs survived a near first-round upset from the 14th seed Feather River, and then had to take on the 11th seed CRC, who had previously upsetted the 6th seed Ohlone in the opening round. CRC didn't put up much of a fight as Bear Cubs came away with a 22-point victory, crushing CRC 74-52. Turn the right to face the number 2 seed Yuba. And what turned out to be one of the most exciting games of the tournament. Yuba edged our Bear Cubs 73-70 to end Bear Cub basketball for the year. What might seem as a disappointment for coaches and players was excitement for Bear Cubs fans. And both teams can be very proud of the season that was the 2011-2012 campaign. The Oak Leaf Sports Report would like to say good job and congratulate both the men's and women's basketball teams on an excellent season. Over to the Diamond, where the women's softball team had an interesting game against Napa last week. And it was more like a football score as the Bear Cubs came away with a 22-13 victory. It seemed to be just what the doctor ordered heading into the Bash tournament over the weekend. The Bear Cubs had 4 games in the tournament, starting with a 6-2 victory over West Hills, then an 8-2 victory over Porterville, followed by a 9-0 shutout over Merced. And in the final game of the tournament, the Bear Cubs lost to Fresno by a score of 9-7. After the tournament, the Bear Cubs record stands at 12-6 and are looking strong as they open up conference play this week with a doubleheader against Sierra here on Saturday at noon. The baseball team continued their streaky season and defeated Contra Costa 7-2 last week on Tuesday, with that being the only game on their schedule. The Boys of Spring have an 8-3 record as they open up conference play with 3 straight games against Modesto, with the first game being Tuesday, March 6 here at the JC at 2:30 p.m. The Sports Report would like to wish both the men's baseball team and the women's softball team good luck on their upcoming conference schedule. On the links, the men's golf team started last week with the second Big 8 Conference tournament held in Sacramento and finished 3rd, shooting a .405, 18 strokes behind FLC. Then, 2 days later, shot a .388 to take honors in the match versus Napa Valley. Up next for the Bear Cubs golf team is the first series Big 8 Conference tournaments, with this one starting on March 8th in Roseville. Good luck, boys, and keep the scores low. In swimming and diving, both the men's and women's teams head to the CUSTA tournament this weekend starting on March 9th. On this week's show, we have a very special guest, men's club volleyball player. He plays Libero, Jonas Magana. Jonas, thank you for joining me today on the show. We really appreciate it. Tell me, what is the SRJC Men's Volleyball Club?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Sean. And SRJC Men's Volleyball Club is exactly what it sounds. It's a club sport, a club team for guys who want to play volleyball in this area, because in the area we live in, girls volleyball is prevalent all over the place. And the only other guys team around here is at Sonoma State, and the only high school team around here is in El Molino. So a couple of the El Molino grads and a couple of Terra Linda grads got together, and we started a club last year, and this is our second year playing club volleyball at the collegiate level. We are in NCCVL Division II North. We play teams like San Francisco State, City College of San Francisco, the Davis II team, and Sac State's B team. And yeah, it's just a club for anyone that wants to enroll in 9 units and wants to play some real competitive collegiate club volleyball.
And how does the club fall into the ranks of college sports? It's an intramural sport, correct?
Yeah, well, what you have is, you know, obviously at the NCAA level, you have your Division I's like your USC's, your Stanfords, Oregon States, and et cetera. And then you have the intramural level of sports, and yet we're governed through the Northern Collegiate, well, I should say the National Collegiate Volleyball Federation, which polices all club sports all over the country. And basically, you just sign up and you meet their requirements, and you play a lot of club teams from these Division I schools, maybe athletes who were good enough to play, but they couldn't quite make the D1 team. So yet they get an intramural team that also gets to travel just like an actual team. And we go to all these tournaments where we get to play all these big schools. Like we just went to Davis a few weeks ago, and we played Fresno State, Santa Barbara, and Oregon State, big Division I, you know, powers. And yet here we are, junior college, playing these big teams at these tournaments, and it's just an awesome experience.
Wow, so it's very, very widespread. How is the team doing so far?
This year, we are actually, we are just coming off our NCCVL North Mini Tournament because the schedule is so tight, there's not enough time to play everyone twice. So once a year, one school hosts everybody for the weekend, and you get an extra conference game in. And we just came off of sweeping the tournament, you could say. We went 7-0, undefeated, and we're currently 12-0 overall. So we're in first place in NCCVL Division II. And this year has been a real magical year because it's like we have a lot of guys who are just unselfish players, just want to play hard and just have fun. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're only 9 guys, which ideally for a team isn't a lot, but you know, we all have our roles and we make it work, and at the same time we're just having a blast.
Excellent. And you know, and as for, you know, you've said where the team is playing outside of the JC, but where can Bear Cub fans come and see the team play here at the college?
Well, it's funny, we actually call ourselves the Thunder Bears.
Okay.
Because you know, taking a cue from the Thundercats, because we kind of wanted to be a little different from, you know, like the hockey team is the Polar Bears.
Right.
And we were like, what kind of bear do we want to be? So we were messing around one day in practice, and one of our teammates hit the ball super hard, and we're like, dude, bring the Thunder. And then we're like, that's it.
Nice.
We're the Thunder Bears.
Nice.
And, you know, unfortunately for fans this season, a lot of our games have been played on the road because we have scheduling conflicts with, you know, other sports teams and stuff, which is fine because that's the way it goes. And but for those fans that want to see us play, we have a huge game this Friday night in Hale Pavilion at 8 o'clock against City College of San Francisco, who is right behind us. They're in second place, 1 game out, and it's going to be a huge game. First place is on the line in NCCVL Division II North, and the more people we get out there to come watch us to see that exposure is us saying, hey, look, you can come play club volleyball at the JC if you're a guy and you want to play volleyball, and you can't afford to go to Sonoma State and you can't afford to go somewhere far. You could come to Santa Rosa and you could play club volleyball, and it's a wild ride. It's a lot of fun.
Excellent. And is there a price? Does the games cost money for fans to come in?
Admission's free. You know, the only thing you got to be leery of is obviously parking. So if you want to take your gamble and not pay for your parking pass, that's entirely up to the fan. But no, admission's free, and you know, just come out and watch some really high-level competitive men's volleyball, fast-paced action if you like that sort of pacing, and you know, just be prepared to have a good, fun time.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Jonas, thank you so much for joining me today. And you know, definitely, if fans, if you're interested in coming out and seeing these games, you know, like Jonas said, the games are free, and you know, our intercollegiate sports are just as important as regular sports at the school. So Once again, thank you for joining me, Sean Doherty, your host of the Oak Leaf Sports Report. And before I go, I once again would just like to say congratulations on an excellent season to both the men's and women's basketball teams on putting together an amazing 2011-2012 season. And check out Friday night, the Thunder Bears, as they play at Hale Pavilion at 8 o'clock. As always, go Bearcats!